Because I did it wrong. I'm so silly. Hold on. There we go. There. Perfect. When I'm looking straight like this, am I actually looking straight? I have to like glance to the side. Hi, Laggy. How are you? Are you well? Nerd, no, that's me. For real. Cause I got nerd glasses on today. You're well? Good. I don't know why the bottom of my screen is... I think it's Discord. Oh, Discord. Why is that connected to my... Wait. Okay. No. I'm suspicious. Yes, perfect. Wait. Wookie wookie. Oh my god, what just happened? Nya? Nya? You glitchified me. How do I... Grenada. Yeah, you know, the island of Grenada. The thing I like about the Nono tracker is I learn new countries all the time. I don't know. You should Google it and tell me. Dang it. Now it's sideways. Look what you've got. Look what you've done. Look at what has happened. You haven't learned anything. Why? How was your test, Juice? Okay, why... Can I not put this, like, on my nose or something? Did I do it? No. The Caribbean country comprising a main island, also called Grenada, and smaller surroundings. I'm flying over Malaysia now! I'm so fast. I like to think because we're live streaming, we're also, like, simultaneously everywhere. Why is it... This is so difficult. Made me depressed, so a usual math test. Real. Why are ads starting? I don't understand pre-rolls, you guys. The other day there were no pre-rolls, and today there are pre-rolls. Even though I turned pre-rolls off. Hi, Sophia! How are you? Please enjoy your... It kind of looks like curry with like a lotus flower on it. Thank you for the sub, Lala. What am I doing? Well, right now I'm trying to put my glasses on so they don't... So they aren't weird on my face. Or like actually stick to my face. You missed the notif. A good thing. We're alive. I mean, you didn't miss much. It's like I don't wanna... If I click it to my chin, it'll move while I'm talking. Oops. But...
Get loved, Stinky. I will lurk.
Like, hello? Thank you for the repop! Silver! Just glue them. I wish it were that simple then. If only it were that simple. Oh? See, it's either stuck to my hair or it's stuck to... Maybe we have to just go with the fact that it's gonna be stuck on my hair. On the bright side, today's test was the last one that was actually going to be bad. Oh, okay. That's good. Guys, Christmas is next week. Did you know that? I did, and I'm still not done. I'm still not done shopping. Why is this so silly? I don't want to process 2026. The fact that we're at 2026 doesn't feel real to me. Are you making one of those characters? I forget what they're called. I'm a VTuber, if that's what you mean. Hi, cat! Did all my shopping for the dogs a couple weeks ago. I wanna do shopping for my pets. Honestly, two of the things on my hungry, nice. Two of the things on my Vicky, hi, help an anime girl. I'm trying to put on my glasses, but clearly it's not working very well. On my Christmas list, there's actually. Okay, we're just gonna keep them on my hair, I guess. You're beautiful, thank you, Ayato. 2 cat carriers for my 2 kitty cats. They're very beautiful cat carriers, and I want them so badly. They, like, can open up all sorts of ways, and they can be turned into, like, a little protective thing. Thank you for the sub, Johnny. You love my character, thank you. I love you. Hola, Strawberry! The fact that these glasses are moving so much is gonna make me lose my mind. What's sad is that I had it set up perfectly beforehand, and then... The glasses are cute. I'm trying to... Because they're like moving. You know what? They'll just be like... Pretend they're like pinned to my forehead or something. Pinned to the hair is silly. It's got like good physics. It feels like when you have a fishing rod in front of your face and there's like something dangling in front of it. That's what it feels like. Yeah, love Stinky, I will lurk. What the silver? That should have made a noise, I think. It should have said that out loud, did it? It was too busy. Okay, so guys, today... It did? Okay, excellent. Today, we're reading Warrior Cats. Now, I decided to put us in the ASMR tag, because I feel like this can qualify as ASMR. And, I think it'll broaden my reach a little bit more. So that's what we're gonna do. And this is the final... We're starting the final book. How do you make a VTuber? That is a good question. I'm... Here. Wait. I'm gonna send... No. Yes! I'm actually gonna send you something right now. This is a guide. It has free models and free assets for your heart's content. So if you really truly wanted to be a VTuber, it also has a VTuber guide in it. So let me send it in chat for both of you, YouTubers and non-YouTubers. So yes, we're going to... Oh, my hands are gone. We're gonna... This is the final book of Dawn of the Clans. And then we're going to read one more book that's kind of linked to Dawn of the Clans because it talks about how medicine cats were born. If you don't know what warrior cats is and you're just kind of here to hang out, that's totally fine. Honestly, sometimes I think that listening to books out of context, especially like warrior cats in particular, is really funny. It's like, and if you like get invested in what little you know, it's pretty hilarious. We have our death count at the top of the screen. Why is my hat? We have our death count at the top of the screen, and it's kind of blocked by my head. But yeah. I have 2 YouTube accounts. I'm on one, and my other account has... Ooh, that's a lot of subs! Good job! I come into all these times, and I have zero idea what's going on. It's pretty funny, isn't it? So, yes, this book is called Path of Stars. I feel like so much has happened in this series, and so little has happened as well. I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but also where it's gonna take us. Oh, so I guess it'll when I start reading, it'll refresh us on what happened in the previous book. But from what I recall, there's like a gang of rogues that used to roam, or not roam the forest, but they were in they were like street cats, and as payment to not going on and in the forest, the rogues that were in the forest would give them food as like payment, like kind of like a mobster or something, maybe. I don't know. And so like give us the food. But when the mountain cats moved in and they created little clans, it meant that they weren't getting payment anymore because the rogues that were there previously felt bolder, and they didn't want to pay up because they're like, well, we have backup now. So nothing. We're not paying up. But now the rogues have made themselves known, and they're like, yeah, we want our payment now, actually. Especially now that it's winter, and we want food. So we need some food. And I believe that's where it ended. We also have 4 clans now. Amazing. We have Shadow Clan. Well, they haven't like named their names yet, but they're officially run by... Wait, is Clear Sky hasn't... No, we have an extra one. Hi, Insane! I hope you enjoyed whatever you got. I didn't get to see it. We have 5 clans. So one clan needs to be demolished, which is definitely going to be Clear Skies. Pancake. Later today, I'm going grocery shopping, and I'm going to get waffles. I'm really excited about it. So yeah, we have Clear Sky, we have Thunder's camp, we have River Ripple's camp, we have Shadow, what's her name again? Tall Shadow's pack, and Windrunner's pack. So we have 5 right now. Clear Skies, I think it's kind of cheeky to name him Clear Sky because there's like a one forgotten clan, or like a clan that gets established in a different area called Sky Clan. So the fact that his name is Clear Sky is kind of like, I see. So yes, that's what we're gonna be reading about today. I read this, I read a thing on YouTube, and I guess I didn't read it, it told me that if you, like, shake your head, it, like, loosens up your throat and your jaw, and that's good for when you're reading. All right. I'm gonna begin because I have to go grocery shopping, and I wanna beat this book. Last time, the book took us, like, way longer than it should have. It took us, like, a month and a bit to finish the last book. And we usually can finish them in, like, a month, if not less. So we're gonna try and destroy this book as fast as we can. All right. Prologue. It has been a while since I've read, so it might be a bit sputtery, a bit wrong, a bit I can't pronounce things properly. Please get some chores done or play video games. Oh my god, I'm in Canada! Wow! Heck yeah! OMG, Canada! What's a Canada? It's a country. Prologue. Also, disclaimer, I'm gonna try not to comment on chat as frequently as I usually do. So if you happen to see someone who keeps on asking, like, they're like, no, why aren't you talking to me? No. If you happen to hear this, you can be like, well, Nono is reading right now. You can tell them that. Ignored equals no. National Maple Syrup Day. It is? All the more reason to get waffles. Is that why you're gonna have pancakes? All right. Enough distractions. Time for prologue. I'm gonna take a sippy of Wawa. No distractions. Wait, I should make a redeem where Jingly Keys gets put in front of my face. That'd be funny. Prologue times 5 or whatever it is. A path of stars. The long sweep of clouds that lingered beyond high stones began to tear apart, and the dying sun cut through and set the peaks ablaze. Far below, crow-black shadows reached up to swallow the stone. Greywing, sitting at the edge of the moor, his pelt ruffled by the evening breeze, lifted his gaze towards the horizon and narrowed his eyes against the sun's fiery glare. Turtletail shifted beside him, purring softly. His heart swelled with love as her fur brushed his. This moment is perfect. I never want to leave, he murmured. She stiffened sharply, and he turned to meet her gaze, puzzled by her reaction. Didn't she want to be here with him? Her green eyes shone wistfully. Your life has already changed, she told him. Has it? Greywing struggled to remember. With a jolt, he recalled Slate. His heart quickened. She was his mate now, not Turtletail. This was a dream. He blinked, guilt weighing down his belly. How could he forget his beloved Slate? Turtletail pressed her cheek against his as grief surged in his chest. For a moment, the gentle queen's death seemed as fresh as when Thunder had first told him she'd been killed in Two-Leg Place by a monster. I still miss you, he mewed hoarsely. I miss you too. Turtletail drew away slowly, but I'm glad you have Slate now. You shouldn't be alone. Are you sure you don't mind? Was Turtletail hurt that he'd fallen in love again? It comforts me to see you happy. Turtletail's tortoise shell pelt rippled in a breeze. I love you so much. You gave me such happiness when I was alive, and you raised my kits. I will always be grateful that they had you to take care of them. Sadness flashed in her eyes. Leaving them was even harder than leaving you. Greywing sensed her grief. It stabbed through his heart. Though he had never had his own kits, Pebbleheart, Sparrowfur, and Owl Eyes had seemed like his, and he still missed them now that they'd left the moor to live among the pines and the oaks. Yet he was proud that they'd followed their instincts and chosen their own home. Turtletail went on. You've been like a father to so many. Her eyes glowed. To Thunder, as well as to my kits, to any cat who has needed comfort and guidance. No other cat is as well loved as you, Greywing. You will be remembered. She paused, her eyes suddenly glistening. Even after you... The screech of an owl cut into Greywing's dreams. Ears twitching, he jerked awake. Even after what? You die? Turtletail's words lingered in his mind as he blinked in the darkness of his nest. Beside him, Slate rolled onto her back, her paws limp with sleep. He nuzzled her cheek softly. Turtletail's scent was still in his mouth, and happiness moved like sunshine beneath his pelt. He was lucky to be loved by two mates. No cat is as well loved as you. He snuggled deeper into the nest to escape the leaf-bare wind, which whipped across the camp, making the heather shiver. Greywing? Slate's mew was sleepy. Her eyes opened, glinting in the darkness. She was staring at him. Are you okay? I'm fine, he promised. I was dreaming. About what? About how lucky I am. He nestled closer and purred as her musky scent mingled with his memory of Turtletail. Let's go back to sleep. Foreshadowing? Is he gonna die this book? Pretty blatant. Chapter 1. Dawn sunshine filtered through the canopy. The clouds were clearing at last. Snow melt dripped from the branches and splashed onto the forest floor. Soggy leaves squelched beneath Clear Sky's paws as he hurried along a trail between the oaks. Starflower had been missing since moon high. It felt like a lifetime. He lifted his muzzle warily and tasted the air. Pausing, he glanced over his shoulder. Was some cat watching him? His fur prickled along his spine as he remembered Slash's warning. There are more of us than you can imagine. Beyond his borders, rogues lurked in the shadow like foxes, preying on the weak. Clear Sky growled. I'm not weak. But how could he fight Slash's gang? They'd taken Starflower. He could do nothing but agree to Slash's demands. The mangy Tom's threatening stare flashed in his thoughts. Fury arose in his chest. Coward! He hissed under his breath as he remembered how he'd woken to find Slash standing beside Starflower. Two vicious toms had flanked them, snarling. The tang of blood had soured the air. A wound had glistened on Starflower's cheek where Slash had raked his claws. She'd looked so scared. Clear Sky shuddered, his heart twisting, and Quickwater had just watched without offering to help. She'd been his tribe mate and was his campmate now, and yet she'd hidden in the break-in and watched. If she joined him, they could have fought off these rogues. Starflower would be with him now instead of a hostage. He challenged Quickwater after Slash and his rogues had dragged Starflower away. The mountain cat had assured Starflower of being one of them, of wanting to go with Slash. Sky had stretched her muzzle angrily. Clear Sky had scratched her muzzle angrily. Dumb old fool! He turned now towards camp, energy fizzing suddenly beneath his pelt. He was wasting time. He needed to act. Slash had demanded that the leaders of every group meet him at the Four Trees Hollow at the half-moon. It had been hard to get him to give Clear Sky even those few extra days to talk to the other leaders, but there was no way Clear Sky could have convinced them in 1 day Slash had originally allowed him. Slash would release Starflower if they agreed to give the rogues a share of their prey. Not just once, but always. Clear Sky fluffed out his fur against the early morning chill. Leaf Bear had only just begun to grip the forest, and prey was already scarce. Pursuing Thunder, Tall Shadow, River Ripple, and Windrunner to promise a part of their catch would be hard. Would they even agree to meet Slash? Surely they would feel some sympathy for Starflower. Tall Shadow and Thunder had seen how loyal and supportive she'd been when Clear Sky's mother had died. So what if she was the daughter of a cruel and bloodthirsty cat? Starflower was nothing like One Eye. She had made poor decisions in the past, but she was different now. And she's carrying my kids. Clear Sky broke into a run, his paws pattering over the wet earth. He would form a patrol to visit each group in turn and persuade Thunder, River Ripple, Tall Shadow, and Windrunner to meet with Slash. They only had to agree to the rogue's terms long enough to get Starflower back. This isn't so much to ask, surely. Bursting through the bramble barrier, he skidded into camp. Thorn and Alder spun around as he scrambled in. Nettle and Sparrowfur circled at the edge of the leaf-strewn clearing, their eyes narrowing as he stopped in the middle. Blossom hung back behind Acornfur and Birch, watching uneasily. Quickwater paced beside the yew, her tail flicking. Clear Sky heard paws shift on earth. Breath billowed around him. Ears and whiskers twitched, but no cat spoke. She's told them. His gaze flicked towards Quickwater. "What have you said?" he demanded. She faced him, her eyes glittering with rage. Blood had dried on her nose where Clear Sky had scratched her. "I told them the truth." Clear Sky curled his lip. "The truth is that you were too cowardly to fight for your campmates." "Starflower is not my campmate," she snapped. "She's gone back to her true friends." "They kidnapped her." Clear Sky dug his claws into the ground, swallowing back fury. He scanned the other cats, trying to read their expression. Alder was watching through slitted eyes. Birch had tipped his head to one side, his gaze thoughtful. Nettle blinked, giving nothing away, while Thorn fidgeted beside him, shifting his weight from one paw to another. Only Acornfur and Blossom met his gaze. Sparrowfur sat between them, her tail twitching. "Quickwater said one of the rogues used to be Starflower's mate." "That's not true." Clear Sky's tail bristled. "Slash was a friend of One Eye. Starflower knew him, that's all." Quickwater padded forward. "The other two knew him as well. They're all from the same group of rogues. I bet Starflower knows them all." Alder blinked at Clear Sky. "How big is this group?" "I don't know." Panic sparked in Clear Sky's chest. He pictured the rogues' camp, Starflower alone, surrounded by mangy cats. "We have to get Starflower away from them." Nettle frowned. "But Quickwater says she went with them freely." "She had no choice," Clear Sky snapped. "Slash ripped open her cheek. She was terrified." Then why didn't she fight?" Quickwater demanded. "You saw why." Clear Sky turned on her. "She was outnumbered, and she's carrying kits. How could she risk their safety?" Acornfur widened her eyes. "So these three rogues took her against her will?" "Yes!" Clear Sky felt a flash of hope. Did someone believe him at last? "Couldn't you stop them?" Sparrowfur asked. "Not on my own." Clear Sky felt shaken by the barrage of questions. "Why did they take her?" Birch blinked at him. Clear Sky steadied his breath. "Slash wants to speak to the leaders of all the groups. They're going to keep Starflower until I persuade Tall Shadow, Windrunner, Thunder, and River Ripple to meet with him." "What does Slash want with the other leaders?" Thorn asked. Clear Sky hesitated. He wants a share of all our prey." Thorn's ear twitched, just like the old days. He swapped looks with Nettle. "When we were loners, we left offerings at the edge of the woods. Kept the rogues happy. They'd stay away from our land." Nettle nodded. "We traded prey for peace." Clear Sky met his gaze hopefully. "We can do it again. We need peace." Quickwater's eyes flashed. "Do you really think we'll make it through Leaf Bear if we have to give away half our prey?" Nettle flicked his tail. "It doesn't have to be half," he reasoned. "Just enough to keep them happy." Thorn snorted. "Cats like Slash and One Eye aren't happy until they have everything." Despair weighed like a stone in Clear Sky's belly. "You're right," he muttered. "But we only have to give Slash what he wants until Starflower comes home. After that, the rogues can hunt for their own prey." "And where do you think they'll hunt?" Birch demanded. "On our land," Blossom muttered darkly. "That's why we have to get the other groups to help," Clear Sky urged. "We have to get Starflower back first, and then decide what to do." Blossom glanced away, staring anxiously between the trees. What if they refuse to help? "They can't!" Clear Sky's pelt pulsed with fear. He'd fought the other groups in the past. He'd even turned against his own kin. Had Thunder, Greywing, and Jagged Peak forgiven him? You have to help me persuade them. He blinked hopefully at his campmates. Quickwater huffed. The other leaders won't risk their cats for Starflower. She betrayed them. That was moons ago, Clear Sky argued, and who can blame her for siding with her own father? Birch sniffed. Would you be so forgiving if she wasn't your mate? Or so desperate to get help if the rogues had taken a different cat? Even if she did, she's carrying Clear Sky's kits, Acornfur told him firmly. Her kits are part of our group. We must get them back. Alder glanced at Birch, her gray and white fur rippling. She blinked at her brother. Don't you remember how the group protected us after our mother died? Guilt pricked at Clear Sky's belly. Oh my god, he was the one. He'd killed their mother when she'd fought to protect her nest. Petal had brought the kits into the group and raised them as her own. Birch nodded, his gaze softening. We've always had a safe nest to sleep in and prey to eat. His gaze flicked around the gathering cats. Starflower's kits deserve the same. They haven't done anything wrong. Quickwater narrowed her eyes. But can we trust their mother? Thorn frowned. She may just be setting another trap. Never! Clear Sky bristled. She's done it before, Nettle reminded him. She led us into One Eye's ambush. Anxious murmurs rippled around the cats. What if she set up her own kidnapping? Thorn gasped. To gather the group leaders together. Blossom's eyes widened in alarm. They might be planning an attack. Why would they do that? Clear Sky snapped. They only want prey. Are you sure? Quickwater's tail swept the ground. If they kill our leaders, we'll all be vulnerable. Clear Sky stiffened as he saw fear bristling in the pelts of his clanmates. He fluffed out his fur. You talk as though we're helpless rabbits, he snapped. But our claws are long as any rogues. No one will get killed. Alder nodded. We can't let them scare us. We have to fight to keep what's ours, Sparrowfur agreed. Clear Sky looked at her hopefully. And will you come with me to persuade the other leaders? Yes. Sparrowfur padded forward. Alder followed her. I'll come too. As Clear Sky blinked at them gratefully, Thorn cut in. Isn't it wise for so many cats to leave the camp? It leaves us prone to attack. But if the rogues come back... They already have Starflower, Clear Sky told him. What else would they want? Quickwater growled ominously. The food from our mouths? Clear Sky glanced at her bitterly. Then you'll have something to fight for, won't you? He headed for the camp entrance, looking back with relief as he saw Sparrowfur, Alder, and Acornfur at his heels. He ducked through the bramble barrier and took the trail that led towards Thunder's camp. Would his son be more understanding than his campmates? How does he know where Thunder's camp is? Worry churned in his belly. Thunder had plenty of reasons not to help him. Clear Sky knew he'd never be a good father. He'd never been a good father. And Thunder had loved Starflower before she'd chosen Clear Sky as a mate. Yeah, honestly. As the path steepened towards a rise, he steadied his breath. After everything that had happened between them, could he count on Thunder's support? Yeah, let's hope my dad raise his new kids better than he raised me with the mate that I wanted to, live together with forever. And who backstabbed me. Hi, Diana. Sorry for the late reply. I just want to keep reading so not to interrupt the story. I get too distracted during these streams, and it takes a bazillion years to finish each book. Chapter 2. Thunder pricked his ears at the sound of tiny paws pattering over wet leaves. He stopped, heart quickening, and signaled to Lightning Tail with a twitch of his tail. As Lightning Tail froze behind him, Thunder dropped into a hunting crouch and opened his mouth. Through the scent of musty leaves, he tasted mouse. It was the first ground prey he'd smelled since they'd left camp at dawn. The dripping forest canopy rustled as birds flitted from tree to tree. The forest seemed dead, as though the recent snows had frozen all life. The mouse moved again, and Thunder glimpsed fur beneath a trailing bramble, which spilled over the top of a rise. Keeping low, he crept forward. The mouse darted deeper into the bramble. Thunder's belly tightened with anticipation. He quickened his pace, then leaped, sailing through the air, his claws outstretched. He narrowed his eyes as he plunged through the spiky branches and landed squarely on the mouse. It struggled beneath his claws, and he curled them around it, tail lashing with triumph. He jerked his muzzle forward and bit through its spine. It fell limp, and he hooked it between his teeth. Barging out of the brambles, he ignored his scratching muzzle and proudly held up his catch. Lightning Tail purred when he saw it. I was starting to think there was no mice left in the forest. Thunder dropped the mouse at his friend's paws. Cold weather came too early. He glanced at the forest, frost-scorched berries, shriveled on the brambles around them, destroyed their food. Lightning Tail stared at the mouse. Hungry prey won't last long. Anxiety tugged at Thunder's belly. What if the prey didn't last until New Leaf? Perhaps they managed to store enough food before the snow came? He meowed hopefully. Lightning Tail glanced around. Mice and squirrels might only be hiding until the thaw's finished. I guess. Thunder tried to push away his doubts. Let's keep hunting. He was leader. He was supposed to know what to do. But he couldn't make prey appear out of thin air. He picked up the mouse and followed the rise, climbing over the roots that snaked across the earth. He knew there was a crop of boulders near the top of the ravine. Prey might have burrowed deep into the crevices there. As he headed towards them, glancing wistfully up at the treetops, Lightning Tail fell in beside him. Early sunlight glowed between the bare branches. Thunder's thoughts flashed to the previous day. He had helped move the heavy stone in the 4 trees hollow and watched as Clear Sky, Greywing, Jagged Peak, Sun Shadow, and Tall Shadow had laid Quiet Rain to rest beneath it. Wait. Oh, okay. I'm Quick Water, and Quiet Rain. They're different cats. Galaxy. The old she-cat's body was safe now from prowling foxes. Finally at peace after her long journey and painful sickness, he'd been privately glad to leave grief behind as he returned to the ravine. His friends had welcomed him happily, listening solemnly as he'd shared the news of Quiet Rain's death, and murmuring with surprise when he told them that Greywing had left Tall Shadow's group to return to the moor. I hope he has finally found his true home. I saw you panic for him. I was like, wait, was there a time skip? Did they kill Quickwater? So funny. Thunder had never regretted leaving Clear Sky's group and starting his own. Leaf, Pink Eyes, Owl Eyes, Lightning Tail, and Milkweed were loyal and brave, and he was grateful that they decided to come with him to the new camp. For the first time, Thunder was where he felt he belonged. On the moor, Greywing's kindness had never eased Thunder's craving for the love and approval of his father, Clear Sky. In Clear Sky's camp, he'd never felt fully accepted. Now he knew that he no longer needed either of them. He was guided only by the needs of his group. They depended on him, and he was determined not to let them down. He was a leader. As they neared the rocks, Lightning Tail's mew cut into his thoughts. The group should practice tree climbing. The Black Tom stopped and gazed up at the wide trunk of an oak. A blackbird was hopping along a lower branch. Thunder stopped, then laid the mouse on the ground. Try it, he encouraged. Lightning Tail circled the tree, then reached up and hooked his claws into the mossy bark. Hauling himself up, he sent fuzzy pieces showering down. The blackbird jerked about, eyes sparkling as it caught sight of Lightning Tail. With a squawk, it fluttered upward and landed easily on a branch overhead. Lightning Tail growled. Why does the best prey have wings? Movement caught Thunder's eyes. His gaze snapped towards the rocks. A thrush was stuttering over the top, stopping every few steps to peck at the cracks in the stone. Thunder froze. There was no undergrowth between him and the thrush. One move and he'd be spotted. He stared, paws rooted to the ground. A thrush would make a good meal for clover and thistle. They were only 4 moons old, and the bird would fill their bellies easily. He watched it hungrily. How could he get near enough and pounce without being seen? Slowing his breath, he'd crouched and slithered like a snake along the forest floor. Wet leaves soaked his belly. Heart pounding, he fixed his gaze on the thrush. Suddenly, a black shape dropped from above. Thunder gasped. Pelt bushing. Lightning Tail! Had the tom fallen? Panic flashed beneath Thunder's fur. Then it melted as he caught his friend's eye. Lightning Tail's gaze was fixed on the thrush. He jumped from the branch. The bird spread its wings, eyes wild with alarm. Too late. Yowling with triumph, Lightning Tail landed with a thud beside it and snapped its jaws around its neck. Thunder broke into a purr. Impressive! Lightning Tail bounded towards him. The thrush swung between his jaws. He dropped it beside Thunder, then shook out his front paws, one at a time, wincing. Ow! Stone is hard! His whiskers twitched proudly as he glanced at the thrush. Let's take it back to camp so the others can have a bite while it's still warm. Thunder nudged his friend's shoulder playfully. You just want to boast about how you caught it. Lightning Tail winked at him. I might mention that I swooped in like a hawk. He scooped up the thrush between his paws and hurried towards the ravine. Thunder grabbed his mouse and followed. As they neared the edge, familiar sense of home rose from the camp. Thunder slipped past Lightning Tail and scrambled down the steep cliff, following the route from ledge to ledge until he reached the soft earth at the bottom. Lightning Tail landed beside him and raced for the gorse barrier. He ducked first through the tunnel. Thunder followed, the gorse scraping his pelt. As he burst into camp, Clover and Thistle raced from the bramble bush where they shared a nest with their mother, Milkweed. They were growing bigger each day. Thunder wondered whether he should bring live prey back to camp and start to teach them how to hunt. Thistle skidded to a halt in front of Lightning Tail as the black tom stopped in the middle of the clearing. Early sunshine speared between the branches at the top of the ravine and dappled the camp with light. Clover raced past her brother and ran into Thunder. Did you catch any shrews? Her yellow eyes shone hopefully. Her ginger and white fur prickled along her spine. Thunder dropped the mouse. Just this, I'm afraid. And my thrush, Lightning Tail called, nodding to the bird at his paws. Thistle was already nosing through the feathers, his orange tail twitching with excitement. Milkweed called from the bramble. Slow down, Thistle. The others might be hungry. Pink Eyes slid from his nest beside the fallen tree. Let the youngsters eat, he mewed huskily. I can wait. He blinked through the sunshine as though trying to see. His pale eyes had never been very sharp. The passing moon seemed to dull his eyesight even more. Thunder noticed with a frown how skinny the old tom looked. Starting Leaf Bear, so thin wasn't healthy. How'd this mouth, Pink Eyes? He carried his catch to the white tom and dropped it at his paws. Thistle and Clover can have the thrush. I'll send out another hunting patrol soon. I'll go. Leaf patted from the bramble, his fur still ruffled from sleep. Owl Eyes scrambled from his nest beneath the yew. Can I go too? Thunder purred, pleased to see his campmates so eager. How would you like to lead it? Yes, please. Owl Eyes lifted his tail excitedly. Thunder glanced at Leaf. The black and white tom was older and more experienced. Would he understand that it was important for younger cats to practice leading as well as following? Leaf whisked his tail happily. That's a great idea. Cloud Spots patted from the fern tunnel, which led to a small clearing among the fronds where he'd made his nest. The ferns were dying back now, but Bracken crowded behind, sheltering the den with stiff orange leaves. Cloud Spots still looked bleary with sleep. I smell prey. He glanced at the thrush, and his gaze flicked towards the mouse, at Pink Eyes' paws. Is that all you found? There was worry in his mew. Thunder shook out his fur. I'm sure Owl Eyes and Leaf will find more, he answered breezily. He didn't want the group to know how concerned he was. They're about to leave on patrol. I'll go with them, Cloud Spots told him. 6 eyes are better than 4. Thistle looked up from the thrush. If I come too, there'll be 8 eyes. Leaf touched his nose to the kit's head. You can come another time. You can check the ravine for mice while we're gone. Owl Eyes was already hurrying to the camp entrance, Cloud Spots at his heel. I already checked there yesterday, Thistle complained. There aren't any. Try again, Leaf told him, turning to follow Cloud Spots. Milkweed crossed the clearing. We need you here, Thistle, she meowed. If everyone goes hunting, who's going to guard the camp? Thistle snorted. You're just saying that to stop me from going. Clover trotted towards her brother. Of course she is, she sniffed. If she doesn't make you feel special, you'll sulk all morning. I never sulk. Thistle glared at his sister. You sulked all afternoon yesterday because Milkweed wouldn't let you play in the rain. Thistle stuck his tail in the air crossly. It was only rain. Thunder patted between them, swapping glances with Milkweed. He could hear grit showering down the ravine's side as Owl Eyes led his patrol up into the forest. When everyone's had something to eat, I'll take you into the forest with Milkweed, he promised Thistle. Milkweed looked at him gratefully. Thistle's fur rippled with excitement. Like a real patrol? Can I come too? Clover asked eagerly. Of course. Thunder gazed at her warmly. Lightning Tail picked up the thrush and carried it to a patch of sunshine beside the tree stump near the edge of the clearing. Come and eat this, he called to the kits, and I'll tell you how I caught it. Thistle and Clover raced towards him. Milkweed glanced at the fallen tree, her gaze flickering over Pink Eyes' nest. The squashed pile of bracken looked limp, soggy after the recent rain. Should I make Pink Eyes a new bed? She glanced at Thunder. As Thunder nodded, Pink Eyes looked up sharply from his mouse. I can make my own nest, he grunted. I know, Milkweed answered, but why don't I get it started and you can help me when you finish eating? You can gather fresh bracken and you can scrape moss from the fallen tree and spread it in the sunshine to dry. She didn't wait for a reply, but crossed the clearing. As she disappeared into the bracken, Lightning Tail's pelt caught Thunder's eyes. The Black Tom was diving across the clearing, forepaws outstretched. Thistle and Clover stared at the Tom, wide-eyed, their mouths full. The thrush didn't even see me, Lightning Tail told them as he demonstrated his move. I just swooped on it as silently as an owl. Will you teach me how to climb trees? Clover asked. We're not squirrels. Pink Eyes swallowed the last morsel of his mouse. Thunder felt a flicker of relief that the old cat had not lost his appetite. Thistle sniffed. That doesn't mean we can't climb. Pink Eyes gave his forepaws a quick lick and stood. Don't blame me if you fall out and twist your tail. He headed for the fallen tree and began to strip moss from the rotting bark. Behind him, bracken rustled. Thunder heard roots tear as Milkweed held up fresh stems. Thunder glanced at the pale blue sky. Moons of cold weather lay ahead. How would he keep his cats well fed if prey was already scarce? He hoped Owl Eyes, Cloud Spots, and Leaf would find better hunting than he and Lightning Tail had. If they don't, I'll go out again later. He was determined he would never let his cats go hungry. Never? His pelt prickled. Was that a promise he could make? He suddenly pictured Quiet Rain lying in her shallow grave, and his thoughts flashed to Lightning Tail's leap from the tree. He thought for a moment that his friend had fallen. An accident could befall any of them at any time. What if I die? Could these cats manage without me? The thought struck him like cold water. Would the group stay together? He'd let them here. They looked to him to decide what was best. Without him, would Leaf hunt for anyone but Millie and her kits? Would Milkweed worry that Pink Eyes had a dry nest? Would Lightning Tail spend his time telling stories to Clover and Thistle? They were good-hearted cats, but without a leader. Would they think of themselves as a group, or would they drift back to being rogues? What if they rejoined Clear Sky's group? Thank you for the follow, Fire Rescue Guy. Welcome to the Pop-Up Parade. They mustn't, the thought chilled him. He got to his paws and began to pace. Clear Sky had mellowed these past moons, but Thunder knew what his father was capable of. Cats had died at his claws. I won't die, Thunder told himself. I can't. These cats need me too much. As he tried to push worry away, stones clattered down the side of the ravine. He looked up, straining to see over the gorse barrier. Was the hunting party back already? Thistle and Clover jumped to their paws. They raced towards the camp entrance. It's Owl Eyes, Clover called, her nose twitching. I can smell him. You're just guessing, Thistle scoffed. How can you smell him from here? I can smell nearly as well as Pink Eyes. She looked toward the old Tom expectantly. Clover's right, Pink Eyes confirmed, his gaze fixed on the long strip of moss he was peeling from the fallen tree. Paws thumped onto the ground beyond the barrier. Thunder crossed the clearing, weaving in front of the kids. Whoever was approaching the camp was in a hurry. He pricked his ears as owl eyes burst through the gorse tunnel. Alarm sparked in the young Tom's gaze. Clear Sky's coming, he puffed. He has a patrol. Acorn Fur, Sparrow Fur, and Alder are with him. Did you speak to them? Oh, sorry, that wasn't a kit. Did you speak to them? Thunder demanded. Cloudspots and Leaf are talking to them now. Leaf sent me back to camp to warn you. Lightning Tail hurried to Thunder's side. What's the problem? Is Clear Sky starting another fight? Why would he? Pink Eyes blinked at them from across the clearing. There's nothing to fight about. Clear Sky can always find something to fight about. Lightning Tail growled darkly. Why else would he bring a patrol here? Thunder's ears twitched. Clear Sky had shown no hostility the last time they had met. He'd been stricken with grief at Quiet Rain's death. He's probably just bringing news, he told Lightning Tail. He doesn't need to bring 3 campmates to share news, Lightning Tail argued. Paws scrambled down the ravine beyond the gorse. Thunder lifted his chin. Why don't we just wait and see? He shot Lightning Tail a warning look. His friend could be hot-headed and was a bit wary of Clear Sky. I don't want unnecessary arguments. The gorse shivered and Clear Sky hurried in. His gray fur was ruffled and his eyes glittered with panic. Acorn Fur, Alder, and Sparrow Fur hurried in behind him, their gazes solemn. Thunder blinked at his father. Are you okay? Anxiety sparked in his pelt. I need your help. Clear Sky's tail swished restlessly. Thunder frowned. Why? Slash has taken Starflower, Clear Sky told him. He's holding her hostage. Slash. The name rang in Thunder's mind like the call of a distant bird. He'd heard it before. But where? He stiffened. Burn. She was a young rogue she-cat that he'd met with Greywing. Greywing had been taking her to Tall Shadow's camp to escape Slash. She had confessed that Slash had been forcing her to spy on the cats in the pine forest, and she'd sounded so scared. Thunder suddenly became aware of Clear Sky's gaze probing his. Starflower's in danger! Clear Sky meowed urgently. Thunder met his gaze. We must save her. I don't know where she's being held, Clear Sky told him. Acorn Fur chimed in. Who knows how many rogues are guarding her? Slash said there were more than we could imagine, Sparrow Fur added. Thunder stared at his father. Didn't Clear Sky have a plan? What do you want me to do? Thunder's eyes narrowed as Clear Sky explained what Slash had demanded. To meet with all the group leaders to discuss a way to share prey with the rogues. As Thunder shook his head in disbelief, Clover and Thistle pushed their way forward. Hi, Acorn Fur! Clover blinked at the she-cat who'd once been her campmate. Do you remember me? Thistle nudged his sister aside. I bet she doesn't, he sniffed. We're nearly grown up. Clear Sky growled. This is no discussion for kids. He flicked his tail towards them and glared at Thunder. Shouldn't they be doing chores or something useful? Wow, rude! Thunder felt a prickle of irritation with Clear Sky. Even now, when he needed their help, he couldn't stop bossing other cats around. This is my camp, Clear Sky, he meowed firmly. I decide who does what. The Braken wrestled at the back of the camp. What's happening? Milkweed asked as she hurried across the clearing, her eyes sparkling with worry when she saw Clear Sky, Acorn Fur, Sparrow Fur, and Alder. Clover stared at her mother. Clear Sky said we should be doing chores. He thinks kids aren't allowed to talk, Thistle added indignantly. Milkweed bristled, shooting Clear Sky an angry look as she guided Clover and Thistle away. Paw steps sounded beyond the gorse, and Cloudspots hurried into camp. Leaf at his tail. Tension prickled in the air like a coming storm. Forcing his ruffled fur flat, Thunder padded to the center of the clearing and faced Clear Sky. I want to help you, he began, but prey is scarce already. We can't give what we catch to the rogues. Clear Sky stepped forward, his tail twitching angrily. You have to! Slash will kill Starflower if we don't do as he says. Lightning Tail growled. If we agree to their demands, these rogues will think we're weak, and they'll keep pushing us around. Leaf nodded. He's right. Rogues like that are worse than foxes, too lazy to hunt for themselves, but happy to bully other cats into doing it for them. Milkweed moved closer to her kits, wrapping her tail around them. Perhaps we should give them a little of our prey, just to keep them quiet. Pink Eyes glanced sympathetically at the queen. I know you're frightened for your kits, but the rogues are just trying their luck. If we give in now, they'll keep pushing until they drive us away. We've worked hard to make this land our own. Exactly! Lightning Tail snapped. Thunder kneaded the ground anxiously. He glanced at Lightning Tail. His friend's eyes shone with rage. Leaf circled the visitors, his black and white pelt spiking along his spine. Cloud Spots watched in narrowed eyes. Clear Sky's gaze fixed desperately on Thunder. You have to help me. Why? Bitterness suddenly rose in Thunder's throat. You never helped me. Why hadn't Clear Sky ever shown as much concern for his mother? If he had, Storm and his littermates might still be alive. He pushed the thought away. The past was over. Clear Sky needed his help. No matter how bad a father he'd been, he was still a cat who deserved to be heard. And yet, Thunder knew that he must put his campmates first. He met Clear Sky's gaze. I can't promise prey to these rogues. We need it as much as they do. Clear Sky leaned forward, whiskers trembling. You don't have to give them prey. Just meet Slash and promise so they return Starflower. Lightning Tail growled, these rogues is hunting for trouble. Leaf lashed his tail. We should stay out of it. It's not our problem, Cloud Spots agreed. Clear Sky kept his gaze on Thunder. Help me, please! His mew was hoarse with despair. Thunder shook his head, guilt jabbing in his chest. I can't, he murmured. I must think of my campmates. I can't sacrifice their well-being for yours. Clear Sky's tail bristled. What kind of son are you? I can't believe Clear Sky can still pull these low blows out of his butt. Thunder's heart sank as anger hardened his father's gaze. He'd seen it countless of times before. Warily, he held his ground. This Clear Sky went on. How long are you going to resent me for taking Starflower as my mate? He's thinking of his clan, not of you. Oh my goodness. Clear Sky snarled. Must you punish her as well? If my kids die, I'll never forgive you. Thunder swallowed back fear. I'm punishing no one, he meowed steadily. Starflower chose you, and I respect her decision. I'm sorry she's in trouble, and I'd help if I could, but I can't let my campmates starve to save her. You must solve this problem yourself. Clear Sky stared at him, eyes wide with disbelief. He's so mature. I'm so proud of him. Please enjoy your bottle of olive oil. Cordy. Hi, Cordy. Cordy, thank you for the gifts. Did you see I'm playing Inscription already. I'm so happy you gifted it for me. This guy just never gets it. It's like he thinks that if he's suddenly nice, everyone will help. But if it doesn't work, he just does. Yes! It's very good characterization of, like, that kind of person, you know? Like, I was so nice to you. Why aren't you doing it properly? Hi, Cordy! Cordy, look! I set up this thing so when you talk and chat, you get a shout out. Let me move it so it's in a little better spot, though. Right there. Perfecto. Yeah, isn't it cute? Yeah, he's really, like, every now and then you're like, okay, I'm kind of getting used to Clear Sky. He's growing better a little bit. And then he goes and he says something or does something and you're like, okay. Thank you, Cordy! Iquinfer leaned towards her leader. Come on, she murmured. Let's go. Perhaps Tall Shadow will help, Alder mewed encouragingly. River Ripple will know what to do. Sparrowfur shot Thunder a sharp look. The river's always full of fish. He'll be happy to share some of his prey. Clear Sky turned away. You're right, he muttered. The others will help. They have to. He hurried through the gorse tunnel, his campmates following. As Thunder heard them scramble up the ravine, he realized he was trembling. Should he have agreed to help? He wasn't convinced the other leaders would really support Clear Sky. And if they didn't, what would happen to Starflower? He shivered as a damp wind spiraled into the hollow. Starflower had softened his father. He shuddered to think how Clear Sky might react to her death. Would a refusal now lead them into another great battle? I think the Errands just don't like Clear Sky. I agree. I agree. I think they don't like Clear Sky because I also don't like Clear Sky. I appreciate his point of view, but I still don't like him, which is very good writing. If I can still read him, but also not like him, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Chapter 3. I'm gonna sip. Also, I didn't say hi to, Unison and Lazy Dude Gamer. I don't know if you're still around, but hello. Welcome in. Sorry I couldn't reply right away. I was busy reading. I'm being more professional now that I have like a fancy model. Chapter 3. Greywing scanned the moorside, a damp wind tugging at his whiskers. His belly growled with hunger as he tasted the air, but there was no scent of prey, only the musty smell of dying heather. Below him, Gorsefur stalked across the slope, grass steaming around his paws. Where the moor began to dip towards the forest, Windrunner sniffed at the edge of a swath of heather. As she stretched her muzzle forward, Spottedfur burst through the heather. The prey scents are stale even here. Greywing heard the young Tom's mew on the wind. Spottedfur was a new member of the group. A golden-brown Tom whose mother had hunted with Slate in her rogue days. Spottedfur had left his mother and littermates when they'd moved on to a new territory. Thank you for the follow, Corin! Oh, especially thank you for the follow, because now I can move my alerts to not be where they were, because I didn't know where they were. Maybe I'll put them, like, down here. Windrunner hadn't been keen to accept a rogue as a campmate, but Slate had vouched. Oh my gosh! Hi! What the heck? You followed me and then you secretly dumped the raid on me? Oh my gosh! Hello, Overwatch 2. Welcome in. Thanks for hanging out today, Mippy. Hi, Corin. Hi, that crazy fan. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Popka Parade, where we travel the world and spread hope and joy. Now you too will do that. Let me read your cute little message. You've got to check out Corin. This adorable mage VTuber isekai'd into our world and is learning modern life through gaming. Wise. From Overwatch to Fortnite and even some horror games, Corin's variety streams are a blast. Plus, they're super friendly and love chatting with viewers. Don't miss out this enchanting streamer. Aw, so cute! Wait, we have to go follow Corin. If I'm not following Corin already. Paul, what's up? I'm not! Okay, instant follow. Thank you for the follow! Oh, yeah, okay, it is actually. Just need to make the alerts go up a little bit higher. Welcome in, and thank you for the compliment! Today we are reading Warrior Cats. We are only on chapter 3. I'll be lurking, haha. Sweet lurking? I was gonna say sweet dreams, but I don't know if you're gonna sleep, so I guess sweet lurking works. Yeah? I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And Corin, good work today. You did well. If you guys need something to lurk to, this is a perfect stream too. I'll just be reading some pleasant cat stories. And you can do some chores, maybe do the dishes, play some games, whatever you want. Okay, I'm gonna continue reading now. Hello, it's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. I'm gonna keep reading. I try not to talk to chat while I'm reading, but sometimes I get distracted because we're trying to speed up our reading process because I get so distracted by chat and I start talking to them in the middle of a chapter. So I'm gonna try and be professional. You're cute. Okay, let's go. Where was I? Reading time. He'd watched the moorland cats hunting and racing through the heather and wanted to join them. Windrunner hadn't been too keen to accept the rogue as a campmate, but Slate had vouched for him, swearing that his mother was a kind-hearted cat and a great hunter. And Spotted Fur had quickly proven the gray she-cat right. He caught as much prey as Windrunner, and the group leader had soon forgotten that she'd ever had doubts about the young Tom. But even Spotted Fur's skill and enthusiasm couldn't make prey appear where there was none. Greywing narrowed his eyes, unnerved by the empty slopes. Surely the thaws should have brought the prey from the burrows by now. Had the early snowfall killed this year's young? He shifted his paws anxiously. If it had, Leafbear would be long and hungry. He saw Gorsefur freeze and stiffened. Had the great Tom spotted prey? He followed Gorsefur's gaze, disappointed when he saw it fall on Mothflight. Windrunner and Gorsefur's scatterbrained kit had wandered away from the patrol again and was staring at the sky. The small white she-cat was 5 moons old, and she was as easily distracted as a kit half her age, me. Greywing frowned as he watched her scamper forward to sniff a withered stem poking from the grass before resuming her cloud-gazing. Curiosity was natural in kits, but by now Mothflight should have learned to concentrate on what she was doing. Mothflight! Gorsefur called to her. You can oh, I forgot I gave him a country voice. Mothflight! Gorsefur called out to her. You can watch the clouds later. We're supposed to be hunting. Greywing flicked his tail irritably. If any prey had crept from its burrow, Gorsefur's yowling would have sent it running back for shelter. It is! Okay, I was wondering who Mothflight was. When I heard the name, I was like, wait, wasn't that their current medicine cat? But this is perfecto. Stretch, thank you for the... She's seen wonderful things. Mothflight dipped her head apologetically and began to stalk the hillside. Behind Greywing, Paw Steps thumbed against the ground. He caught a trace of Slate's scent a moment before she stopped beside him, her thick, soft pelt brushing his. Caught anything yet? She was out of breath. Her pelt still carried the warm, heathery smell of their nest. Greywing glanced past her to follow to the hollow in the hillside where the camp was sheltered. She must have come from there. There's nothing to catch, he told her gloomily. Of course there is. Slate lifted her chin and headed towards the others. Greywing's dream flashed in his thoughts. It comforts me to see you happy. He remembered Turtletail's words, fondness swelling in his chest. He was glad to see... He was glad she didn't begrudge the warmth Slate had brought into his life, relieved that he wouldn't have to spend the cold Leafbear nights alone. With Turtletail dead and her kits in different groups, he missed the closeness of family. He was lucky to be starting a new life with Slate. He watched her walk towards Windrunner. Spotted Fur had slid from the heather and was gazing hopefully across the hillside. Slate stopped beside them, dipping her head to the leader. As the two she-cats exchanged greetings, movement caught Greywing's eyes. A rabbit had darted from behind a tussock and was speeding across the grass. It was too far away for Windrunner and Spotted Fur to reach, but Gorsefur had seen it and was charging up the slope. The rabbit streaked towards the Mothflight. Mothflight, look! Greywing tensed. The young she-cat was still gazing into the sky. Silently, he urged her to turn her head. The rabbit was veering away, heading upslope to the safety of the moortop burrows. Mothflight didn't move. Couldn't she hear its paws? Frustration surged in Greywing's belly. He broke into a run. If he cut off the rabbit's escape, he could steer it straight into Mothflight's path. She'd have to see it then. He ran, the damp air searing his lungs. The breathlessness he'd suffered from the moors had grown worse with the coming of Leaf Bear. Pain gripped his chest, but he kept running, pelt fluffed as he tried desperately to make an imposing silhouette against the skyline, enough to scare the rabbit into changing course. It's working! Hope surged through his fur. The rabbit's eyes sparkled with fear, and it skidded wildly away from him. Mothflight stood, face to the sky, and stared dreamily upwards. She must hear us close by now! The ground seemed to tremble with the thrumming of his paws. Even Windrunner's spotted friend Slate had turned to watch. Roarsfur was still chasing, too far behind, eyes fixed on the rabbit. Mothflight! Greywing yowled as the rabbit streaked past her. She turned and blinked at him. Oblivious as the rabbit shot past her and disappeared over a rise. Oh my god. Greywing pulled up, his paws slithering on wet grass, and stopped a tail length away from Mothflight. He glared at her. What in all the stars are you doing? His lungs burned as he struggled for breath. She blinked at him anxiously. Are you okay? She hurried towards him and sniffed at his muzzle. Does your breathing hurt again? I'm fine, he gasped. Didn't the foolish young cat even realize what she'd done? Her eyes widened. You should sit down and rest. As she spoke, Horsefur thundered past her, his eyes fixed on the rise where the rabbit had disappeared. He chased it, tail streaming behind. Mothflight stared after her father, confusion showing in her round gaze. Didn't you see it? Greywing puffed. See what? Anger flared in Greywing's belly. Taste the air! Its scent is everywhere! Obediently, Mothflight opened her mouth, her pink tongue showing between her teeth. Licenciaca? What am I saying? Licenciaca! Welcome! Thank you for the raid! Welcome, man! You were playing Mega Man. Whoa! Nice! Thank you so much for the raid! Welcome to the Pop Cup Parade, where we we spread hope and joy across the world to those who need it. Today we're reading Warrior Cats, and something's happening in the story. I hope you had a wonderful stream. Let me read your little message. Miss Seneca is an absolute delight. This Scottish VTuber. Have I known you were Scottish? Is a bundle of energy, streaming daily and playing a little bit of everything. From shiny hunting to mech battles, they're always up for an adventure. Their bad singing is absolutely endearing, and their no backseating policy means you can sit back and enjoy the show. Don't miss out on this rarsome streamer. I like how it always says rarstrum. How's stream going? I just mauling over Fireman being evil. Is that in Mega Man? I've never played Mega Man. My childhood friend, who is now my ex-friend, had a Game Boy Color, and I think she had Mega Man on it, but I never played it. I would watch her play it sometimes. Fireman is a Mega Man 1 enemy. Fireman. Why is he blowing out fires? Fireman, Mega Man. Wait, do all of the villains in Mega Man have man in the end of their name? Oh my god, they do! Wait! Bomb Man, Cut Man, Ice Man, Time Man, Oil Man. Oh, there's Killer Bomb. Elect Man, Guts Man, Top Man, Guts Man, Bomb Man. So Mega Man must be... Oh, wait, this is just like Lilo and Stitch. This is exactly like Lilo and Stitch. All of the experiments, the aliens, experiments, are basically all of the mans. Like, you know, the Guts Mans. They're like the incomplete Stitch. And then Mega Man is Stitch. The optimized, fully realized Mega Man. That's why he's Mega Man. I bet that's where they got the idea of Stitch from. Did I just hack everything? Did I just tear open space? Wow. Crazy. Let me have a little sippy of Wawa. Thank you again for the raid. Please get some rest. Stitch are both blue after all. Yes! Oh my gosh, you get it. We're onto something now. We're really onto something. I hope you have a good rest of your day. The Seneca, I hope also that you get rest. Good job today. Good work. Please ponder upon my brilliant mind theory. I don't know what you would call that, because it's not an idea. It's like, it's also not like a theory, really. It's like a realization? Fact? It's not a fact. It's something, though. Alright. I'm gonna get back to reading. If you have some chores to do, or you're playing a game and you want something to read, or not read along, listen along to, then this is a perfect stream for you. I'm gonna get back to reading now. Hi Leo, welcome! You're not late, don't worry. It's just a reading stream, so all's well. Anger flared in Greywing's belly. Taste the air! Its scent is everywhere! Obediently, Mothflight opened her mouth, her pink tongue showing between her teeth. A rabbit! She gasped, her eyes widening suddenly. Greywing could hardly believe his ears. How did you miss it? I'm so sorry! She jerked her head around, scanning the grassy moorside, but the rabbit had long disappeared over the rise, followed by Gorsefur. Windrunner charged towards them. Mothflight shifted her paws self-consciously as her mother stopped and stared at her accusingly. I was watching clouds, she murmured. One looked just like a rabbit. Greywing glanced at the sky. The clouds were pilling so thickly now that he was amazed she could make out any shape at all. If you'd been watching the moorside, you'd have seen a real rabbit, he snapped. Windrunner growled. Mothflight, how many times have I... Oh, wait. Mothflight, how many times have I told you when you're hunting you have to concentrate? Mothflight bowed her head. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't feed you campmates. Windrunner's ear twitched. I'll try harder next time, Mothflight promised. You said that last time, Windrunner hissed. Greywing felt a sudden wave of sympathy for Mothflight as she gazed pitifully at her mother. Perhaps the young cat just wasn't cut out to be a hunter. She might be more use in camp, clearing out bedding and building new dens. He flicked his tail towards the hollow. Why don't you see if Reed and Minnow need you to fetch more heather? He had left the pair weaving a shelter against the camp wall, threading heather stems into the gorse to make a den. Dustmuzzle was helping them. Perhaps he should have brought Dustmuzzle on the patrol instead of Mothflight. The young Tom was far more accomplished hunter than his sister. Mothflight blinked at him eagerly. Let me follow the rabbit's trail. Please, I have a good nose. I'm sure I can find where it's gone. Windrunner snorted. It'll be deep in a burrow by now. You're probably mouse-brained enough to follow it in and get lost. Then we'll have to send a search party to find you. Mothflight seemed to shrink inside her pelt. Greywing's heart twisted. Perhaps we can follow its trail together. As he spoke, Gorsefur appeared on the rise. The rabbit was clamped between the Tom's jaws. You caught it! Greywing purred. Gorsefur slowed as he neared them and laid the rabbit beside Windrunner. Mothflight's gaze shone with guilt. I'm sorry for being such a mouse brain. No harm done, Gorsefur meowed breezily. Windrunner lashed her tail. What if you hadn't been there to fix Mothflight's mistakes? She glared at her mate. Gorsefur met her stare calmly. She's still young. She's old enough to stop a rabbit when it's practically tripped over her. Windrunner snapped. Mothflight glanced anxiously from her mother to her father. I promise I won't do it again. Windrunner snorted. You will, so long as your father keeps making excuses for you. You're too hard on her, Windrunner, Gorsfur objected. Someone needs to be, or she'll never learn a hunt. Greywing turned away, leaving the family to settle their squabbling in private, and headed back along the slope. Slate padded to meet him. Is everything okay? She glanced towards Windrunner. Greywing kept walking. Gorsfur caught the rabbit. He spoke slowly, trying to disguise his breathlessness. Slate fell in beside him. Windrunner doesn't look too pleased. She thinks Mothflight should have caught it. We all make mistakes. I shouldn't have chased the rabbit right towards her. Greywing murmured, I should have known Mothflight was unreliable. Slate nudged his shoulder gently with her muzzle as they walked side by side. Don't blame yourself for a kit's mistake. He shot her a look, his worry over Mothflight melting as he saw the warmth in her gaze. I guess she'll grow out of her daydreaming eventually, he conceded. And then she never did. Of course she will. Slate glanced towards the hollow. Should we go back to camp? There was anxiety in her mew. Greywing tensed. Had she heard him wheezing? We should catch more prey first. The others can manage without us for a while, Slate argued. Besides, it's a good chance for Mothflight to practice hunting. Ahead, Spotted was sniffing the roots of a gorse bush. He lifted his muzzle as they neared. The prey is so stale I can hardly smell anything. Look by the high burrows, Greywing suggested. He pointed his nose towards Mothflight, her white pelt moving over the grass like a tiny cloud as she trailed behind Windrunner and Gorsfur. You can show Mothflight how to spot fresh rabbit trails. Spotted Fur's gaze lit up. Do you think she'd like that? Oh my god, does he have a crush on her? That's so cute. Slate purred. I think she'll appreciate your company. Spotted Fur hared away, cutting across the slope to catch up to the young she-cat. Greywing realized that Slate had gently steered him into the trail that led to the hollow entrance. Perhaps he should rest for a while and catch his breath. He could always go out again later. Dusk often lured fresh prey from its hiding places. As they crossed the smooth grass outside the camp entrance, familiar scents touched his nose. His pelt prickled with curiosity. Clear Sky and Tall Shadow had passed this way. What had brought them here? He quickened his step, hurrying into camp. His brother was pacing the clearing. Tall Shadow sat at the edge, her gaze dark. Reed and Minnow were working on their den beside the wall, their gaze flickering nervously towards the visitors as they wove heather into the rough frame jutting from the gorse. Dustmuzzle sat near them, his gray tabby pelt prickling as he stared at Clear Sky from beside a pail of heather springs. Clear Sky jerked his gaze expectantly towards Greywing. Is Windrunner with you? I must speak with her. He slid past Greywing and peered through the gap in the gorse. Reed told me you were hunting together. She's up on the moor-top, Greywing told him. Slate blinked at Clear Sky. Should I fetch her? Fetch her? Clear Sky echoed, his thoughts clearly distracted. Greywing noticed his brother's unkempt pelt. The fur around his neck clumped in thick spikes. Something was wrong. He nodded to Slate. Go and get Windrunner. She clearly recognized the urgency in his mew and dashed from the camp. Greywing searched Clear Sky's gaze, alarmed to see fear sparking in its blue depths. Something was very wrong. What's happened? They've taken Starflower! Clear Sky kept pacing. Who's taken Starflower? Greywing's heart quickened. Tall Shadow padded forward. Slash and his rogues. Greywing's thoughts whirled. Slash! The cat who had been using Fern to spy on Tall Shadow's group. He'd left Fern in Tall Shadow's care, though he hadn't told the Black She-Cat why. He hadn't wanted her to worry. Had he been foolish to leave one of Slash's rogues among the forest cats? Where's Fern? Fern? Tall Shadow blinked at him. She left us soon after you did. Alarm prickled beneath Greywing's pelt. Had she been spying for Slash all along? Did she say why? No. Tall Shadow tipped her head curiously. She just disappeared. I wasn't surprised. She couldn't seem to settle. It was like she had something on her mind. As though she was frightened. Why hadn't Fern stayed with Tall Shadow's group? Hadn't she felt safe, even there? Fear wormed beneath Greywing's pelt. Slash was clearly more dangerous than he'd imagined. Clear Sky stepped between Greywing and Tall Shadow. Why are you talking about Fern? What's she got to do with this? She was one of Slash's campmates, Greywing explained. I tried to help her escape from him. Tall Shadow shot him a look. Why didn't you tell me? Clear Sky flexed his claws. I didn't come here to talk about Fern, he snapped. They've taken Starflower. Don't you understand? As he spoke, Windrunner burst into the camp, breathless. Slate and Gorsfer skidded to a halt at her heels. What has happened? Windrunner demanded. Clear Sky turned to her eagerly. I need your help, he blurted. A gang of rogues have taken Starflower. They're holding her hostage. Windrunner frowned, confusion clouding her gaze. Why? They want a share of our prey for her safe return. Clear Sky stared at her urgently. Windrunner narrowed her eyes. Who are these rogues? Greywing's ears twitched anxiously. Their leader is called Slash. He's an old friend of One Eye. Windrunner bristled. And you want us to share our prey with them? Just talk to him, Clear Sky pleaded. He wants all the group leaders to meet with him at Half Moon to discuss terms. Gorsfer padded forward, eyes twitching warily. Starflower is One Eye's daughter, he reminded her. How do we know she's not a friend of Slash? Windrunner's tail quivered. It might be her plan. Never! Clear Sky glared at the wiry she-cat. She loves me. She's carrying my kits. Her loyalty lies with her campmates. Windrunner's gaze slid past Clear Sky and rested on Tall Shadow. Do you support Clear Sky? Tall Shadow's gaze was dark. Starflower spent time in our camp while Quiet Rain was dying. I believe she has the heart of a forest cat, not a rogue. She has turned her back on the life she knew as One Eye's daughter. Greywing nodded. Tall Shadow's right. I watched Starflower care for Clear Sky with kindness and loyalty. She's being held against her will, I'm sure of it. Windrunners glanced at him uncertainly. Doesn't mean we have to share our prey with this bunch of foxarts. Panic flashed in Clear Sky's gaze. You have to help! Windrunner looked at him coldly. We don't have to do anything for you. What if it were you? Clear Sky demanded. Imagine they were holding Gorsfer hostage. I'd help you free him. Really? Windrunner sniffed. You never helped anyone but yourself. That's not true. Greywing felt a surge of loyalty towards his brother. He rescued Holly's kits when they went missing. Windrunner kept her gaze fixed on Clear Sky. This is your problem, not ours. Greywing blinked at her. Surely they had to help save Starflower. Clear Sky's eyes widened. You let harm come to Starflower and my kits? Windrunner hesitated, her fur rippling. Greywing sensed a moment of doubt. I think we should help, he murmured softly. Slate moved closer to Greywing. It's too risky, she breathed. These rogues are dangerous. So are we, Greywing growled. Gorsfer stepped forward, tail flicking. But we can't spare any prey. We don't have to, Greywing countered. He looked at Clear Sky. Slash just wants to meet with the group leaders, right? Clear Sky nodded. After he's met with you, he'll return Starflower. Then it's simple, Greywing urged. Windrunner stared at him. Why should we get involved? Greywing returned her gaze gravely. It is our duty to protect Starflower and her unborn kits. Slate moved beside him, but she's not part of our group. Greywing met her amber eyes. If it were you and our unborn kits in danger, I'd want every cat I knew to help save you. Her gaze softened. Greywing met her amber eyes. Oh wait, I already read that. Windrunner grunted. I guess there are kits involved. She dipped her head. Very well, she conceded. I trust your judgment. Greywing, we will meet with these rogues. Joy burst in Clear Sky's gaze. Thank you! Tall Shadow got to her paws and shook out her fur. I'm glad you've chosen to help, Windrunner. She began to head for the entrance. Are you leaving straight away? Windrunner glanced at her. Shouldn't we come up with a plan? We can do that later. Clear Sky began to follow Tall Shadow. First we need to speak with River Ripple. Hasn't he agreed yet? Windrunner's fur prickled along her spine. No. Tall Shadow paused. But he will. Gorsfer's gaze darkened. Has Thunder agreed to meet with the rogues? Clear Sky glanced at Greywing. He refused. Windrunner exchanged glances with Gorsefur. I thought Slash wanted to meet with all the leaders. What's the point of going if Thunder won't be there? Greywing lifted his tail. He could understand why Thunder might be reluctant to help a father who had rejected him so many times. But he knew Thunder had a good heart. He couldn't truly want to risk harm to Starflower and her unborn kits. I'll speak to Thunder. Do you think he'll change his mind? Clear Sky lifted his chin hopefully. Thunder will listen to reason, Greywing reassured him, especially if I'm the one who reasons with him. But what would they do at the meeting? Clear Sky's eyes brimmed with gratitude. Thank you. Come on, Tall Shadow urged as she slid out of camp. As Clear Sky disappeared after her through the gap in the gorse, Greywing had an idea. That's it! Windrunner frowned at him. You really think it's a good idea to meet with these rogues and promise them a share of our prey? Greywing whiskers twitched. We only promised to meet the rogues. We never promised our prey. Windrunner's eyes widened. But what will they do when we refuse? What will they do when we refuse? Greywing interrupted her. I won't be able to do anything, he told her. I have a plan. Mr. Tactician Greywing. This smarty pants. Hi, Koyamanero. Hello. Wow. You came in right at the chapter end. Yes, I did get a model. I had my debut on Saturday. My first debut ever. And I messed up immediately. It's quite funny. And I was so sure that I was going to do, so well. I was like, okay, I got everything sorted out. And then last minute, I decided to do something, and it ended up messing up everything, so. Love your new model, thank you! I love it too. It's nice and bouncy. And I love the eyeballs. The artist is my favorite. Chapter 4. Chapter 4. The glasses, I know. The glasses are stuck to my hair. So I couldn't get them to stick onto my face, so they have the physics of my hair. I can stick my tongue out. Okay, let's keep going. Chapter 4. Clear Sky's pelt rippled along his spine. Above him, the half-moon shone in the crow-black sky. The last leaves of leaf vault fluttered around him as a bone-deep chill gripped the forest. He prickled his ears, listening for the reassuring patter of prey or the call of an owl. But the forest had been silent since he'd left camp. It was as though everything was waiting for the outcome of tonight's meeting. Who would come? Clear Sky quickened his pace as he neared the rim of the Four Trees Hollow. Tall Shadow had promised she'd be there, Windrunner too. He knew River Ripple would be true to his word. The leader of the River Cats was probably already waiting for him beneath the great oaks. But what about Thunder? Had Greywing managed to persuade him? Fear sparked through Clear Sky's blood. The long quarter moon of sleepless nights had exhausted him. Fear was his only energy now, and hope. He longed to see Starflower's face. He hurried faster as he imagined her waiting beside Slash in the Four Trees Hollow. Would she be okay? Had the rose treated her well? He tried not to think what she might have suffered at their pause. What if she wasn't there? What if Slash didn't show up? It might be a trick. He tried to silence the echoing doubt that had nagged him day and night. What if calling the leaders to a meeting was part of a scheme to leave the camps vulnerable? Clear Sky narrowed his eyes. Oh wait, hold on guys. I actually have to text my manager before I forget. Look. I don't want to, accidentally miss him because I don't know when his shift ends. Meow, 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 meow. Where was I? What if calling the leaders to a meeting was part of a scheme to leave the camps vulnerable? Clear Sky narrowed his eyes. He'd made sure his campmates were prepared, assigning each cat a position and warning them to be on their guard. Nettle and Thorn were stationed at the camp entrance. Birch and Alder stalked the woods for signs of intruders. Sparrowfur and Blossom watched from the oak that bought the overhang the clearing, while Acornfur and Quickwater hid in the shadows below. If any rogue tried to invade, it would be met with fierce resistance. The other leaders had taken similar precautions. Clear Sky? As he neared the top of the 4 trees hollow, a call echoed through the trees. He stopped, his heart quickening. The voice sounded again. Is that you? He recognized Tall Shadow's mew. Tasting for her scent, he hurried forward, his apprehension easing as her familiar smell bathed his tongue. She slid out of the darkness, hardly more than a shadow herself. Riverrip was waiting at the other side of the hollow. She led him from the cover of the forest and stopped at the top of the slope. Clear Sky padded after her and followed her gaze towards the shape at the hollow's rim on the far side. It was Riverripple, a pale silhouette against the undergrowth. Tall Shadow plunged over the edge of the slope and threaded her way through the bracken. Clear Sky followed, nosing through the fronds as he tracked her zigzagging route to the bottom. Grass swished on the far side as Riverripple hurried to meet them, his long silver fur rippling in the moonlight. Clear Sky broke from the bracken and padded into the clearing. Cold washed over his face. Chilly air had pooled at the bottom of the hollow, and he moved through it like a fish through icy water. Heat pulsed beneath his pelt as he struggled against fear. He scanned the clearing quickly, his heart beating so hard that he could hear his blood pulsing in his ears. At one end, the great rock rose in the moonlight like a massive curled claw. Beyond it, he saw, with a surge of gratitude, Windrunner's wiry frame. She was headed towards him. He strained to see past through the darkness. Had Greywing persuaded Thunder to come too? Bracken rustled on the forest slope behind him. Clear Sky jerked his head around and recognized his son's broad shoulders as Thunder pushed his way into the clearing. His orange pelt glowed blue in the moonlight. Thunder! Joy flooded Clear Sky's belly. He ignored the prick of resentment he felt at the fact that Greywing had persuaded his son to help him when he had failed. But how could he begrudge Greywing's influence? He had been more of a father to Thunder than Clear Sky ever had. Tall Shadow and Riverripple stopped beside Clear Sky and waited for Thunder to join them. I can smell the rogue scent, Thunder growled. Is it fresh? Windrunner asked. A voice rang from the great rock. Of course it's fresh! There was amusement in the mew. Clear Sky spun and stared up at the rock, his breath caught in his throat. He'd waited a quarter moon for this moment. Dread spiked his pelt. He could smell rogue scent and the scent of the other leaders, but something was missing. Slash stood on top. 6 rogues flanked him. They watched, as unmoving as stone in the moonlight, their dull pelts clinging to their lean bodies. The gleam in their eyes betrayed menace behind their stillness. I hoped you would come. Slash padded to the edge of the rock and looked down, scorn flashing in his gaze. Clear Sky curled his lip as anger swept his fear away. You gave us no choice. Slash snorted. I gave you no choice, Clear Sky. His gaze flickered over the leaders. They have no reason to be here. What do they care if you never see Starflower or your kits again? Clear Sky's heart lurched. Then why did you insist I bring them with me? Amusement flickered through Slash's whiskers. I just wanted to see if you could persuade them. Windrunner flicked her tail angrily. And if he hadn't, I'd have dealt with Starflower and found another way to make you share your prey, Slash told her. Dealt with Starflower? Clear Sky's tail twitched with fear. What did he mean? He suddenly felt as helpless as a kit. Where was she? He opened his mouth, reaching for her scent and realizing with a jolt which scent had been missing. Hers! Thunder bristled. How dare you threaten us? Slash flicked his tail. his gaze flashing towards the other rogues. They moved forward, hissing, and stood at the edge of the rock. "Do you really want to argue with me, Thunder?" Slash asked. Thunder flattened his ears. "What makes you so sure we'll agree to share our prey?" Slash's gaze flickered over the leaders. "The same thing that made you come tonight. You don't want to see Clear Sky lose his mate and his kits." Clear Sky darted forward, snarling at the great rock. "Where is Starflower?" Panic quickened his thoughts. Terror hollowed his belly. Is she okay?" Slash paused, his gaze burning into Clear Sky's. Rage seized Clear Sky. The rogue was playing with him like prey, prolonging his suffering for his own warped enjoyment. "Where is she?" he repeated. Fur brushed his flank. He jerked around, bristling. River Ripple stood beside him. "Don't let him rile you," the silver-furred Tom murmured. "He wants to cloud your thoughts, but you need to keep a clear head." Clear Sky took in River Ripple's soothing gaze. He felt his breathing ease and his heart slow as the Silver Tom's calmness seemed to seep into him. Steadying his paws, he turned back to Slash. "You promised to return Starflower if I brought the other leaders here." Slash tipped his head. "If I gave you Starflower now, what initiative would you have to honor the agreement we will make tonight?" Clear Sky dug his claws into the cold earth. "No one will agree to anything until Starflower is safely returned." Slash flattened his ears and peered over the edge of the rock. "I'm afraid that isn't something you get to decide. If you want to see your mate or your kits alive, you will meet my demands." Cold fear seeped beneath Clear Sky's pelt. Words dried in his mouth. "What are your demands exactly?" Thunder's steady mew sounded behind him. "For every 5 pieces of prey you catch, I want 1. Slash told him simply. "My rogues will visit you each day to collect our share." Windrunner glared at the rogue. "We'll starve!" Thunder growled. "We're not going hungry to feed you." Slash narrowed his eyes. "Why should you grow fat on prey from our land?" "No one will grow fat in this leaf bear," Tall Shadow spat. "There's hardly enough prey for ourselves. There's certainly not enough to share with you." "It's not my problem," Slash answered back. "If you want to live in our land, then you must share what you catch there." "This is not your land," Thunder hissed. "It's not your land either. You took it without asking," Slash snapped. "You forced us to roam the edges and live off your scraps." You've always roamed the edges of other cats' land," Windrunner snarled. "You know no other way. Your kind has been bullying others to hunt for them since I was a kid." Clear Sky's thoughts swirled. Why were they arguing over land? This meeting was about Starflower. Why weren't the other leaders trying to save her? River Ripple eyed Slash coldly. "Why do you stay? The moor, the river, the forest mean nothing to you. New land stretch as far as the horizon. Why not go and hunt somewhere else?" "Why should we bother when we have you to hunt for us?" Slash began to pace the edge of the rock, his rogues moving back to let him pass. "You pride yourself on your hunting skills. Isn't this a perfect chance to show them off? And I think I've given you enough initiative. Remember, if you don't share your prey, Starflower will die." "No!" Clear Sky's breath caught in his throat. "What if we gave you 1 piece of prey in 10? He blurted. Slash's ears twitched. "That's not very generous." 1 in 7? Clear Sky's mew was husky with desperation. He glanced over his shoulder at the other leaders, silently pleading for them to back him up. 1 in 7 isn't much to ask, he rasped. "It'll be New Leaf before we know it, and the land will be prey-rich again." Thunder avoided meeting his eyes. Tall Shadow blinked at him apologetically. Windrunner's gaze was too narrow to read. River Ripple stepped closer to the great rock and stared up at Slash. "Our campmates will not go hungry to feed yours." Clear Sky felt sick. Didn't they care if Starflower died? He broke from River Ripple's side and hurried to Thunder. "You can't do this!" He snapped his gaze to Windrunner. "You have to help save her!" Tall Shadow backed away as he glared at her. "You promised that you'd help Himmy!" A low growl sounded in Slash's throat. Clear Sky turned to face him. The rogues paced menacingly around their leader. "Give me a chance to persuade them," Clear Sky begged. Slash scowled. Is Greywing's plan to not let in Clear Sky on the little plan that he has so that he gets extremely desperate and begs, and then Greywing can pull out some random thing out of his pocket and be like, sorry, Clear Sky, we had to make you desperate. That's my prediction. Slash scowled. Clearly their friends don't care if Starflower dies, he snarled. But don't worry, you won't be the only one to pay for this. His claws scraped the stone. None of you realize the danger you face. My rogues outnumber you. They are more savage than any of you can imagine. If you value your prey more than the lives of your kits and your campmates, then you are free to refuse me. Why would they not? If they're so savage and vicious, why can't they catch their own prey? That's pretty much the same. Thunder lifted his chin. You're bluffing. Tall Shadow hissed at Slash. Why should we believe a word you say? For all we know, Windrunner added, every one of your campmates is beside you right now. Are you willing to take that chance? Slash eyed her menacingly. She didn't flinch. Yes. Yes. Thunder stepped forward. Yes. Tall Shadow lashed her tail. No! Clear Sky looked desperately at River Ripple. Surely he wouldn't let this happen. Don't you understand? He's going to kill Starflower. River Ripple's eyes rounded with sympathy. We can't give in to this bully. He meowed softly. We will only return with more demands until we all starve. So you're gonna sacrifice my mate? Clear Sky could hardly believe his ears. The mother of my kits? Very well. Slash's mew was hard with rage. If that is your decision. No! Clear Sky looked up at him pleadingly. I'll hunt for you. You can have all my prey. Just give me Starflower. Slash's gaze flashed with contempt. Then he turned and disappeared down the back of the great rock. His rogues filed after him. Clear Sky stood, motionless as a rock, as he listened to them swish away through the break-in. Starflower! Grief tore at his heart. Paws trembling, he stumbled and slumped onto his side. A sob choked his mew. Horror closed in all around him, so that he hardly heard the paw steps moving around him. Clear Sky. River Ripple's soft mew sounded in his ear. You've killed her and my kids! He buried his nose beneath his paw. Leave me alone! Everyone has betrayed me, even my own son. I never want to see any of you ever again. Sharp claws raked his ear. Clear Sky! Windrunner's breath billowed over his face. Sit up and stop acting like a kid. Shocked, Clear Sky jerked up his head. Windrunner, River Ripple, Thunder, and Tall Shadow were gathered around him, their eyes bright. Don't you understand? He pleaded. Starflower's going to die. You fool, Windrunner hissed. Do you think we have no hearts? Thunder leaned down and nudged Clear Sky's shoulder with his muzzle. Get up. Thunder leaned down and nudged Clear Sky. Oh, why? Bewildered, Clear Sky let Thunder help him to his paws. Tall Shadow lifted her tail. Come with us, she told him. We have something to show you. Huh? Maybe they found Fern? Maybe they found Fern and had her infiltrate? Or maybe they're gonna follow them? But he's saying they're gonna go some other area that isn't the area that they're in right now. Oh, I have a message. Picture of my cat. I play Minecraft. Yes, I do. I do want to get more into it. Honestly, what I've learned recently after joining VCiv, I've learned that I should find more joy and love and maybe like push my content more in these V-Civilization events, like Minecraft events, because they're so fun and I get to like practice RPing and meet wonderful, kind people. And it honestly is such a breath of fresh air compared to Twitter right now. Like, I don't even know what's going on with Twitter. Or X. I'm calling it X now because it doesn't even feel like Twitter. It, like, honestly, it just feels like some dead, deserted place filled with bots. That's what it feels like to me nowadays. I was thinking today, actually, if I would move to Blue Sky, because, I don't know, it's just so awful. A horror game? A horror Minecraft game? I think it would be really cool to be in, like, a horror Minecraft event. Poppy Playtime! Oh my god. I haven't played Poppy Playtime, but I used to watch someone who had played through it. So I I know how it ends, but I don't remember how to get there. Is this a new look? Yeah, hi Red Dogs, hello! This is my new model that I debuted on Saturday. I would, like, lose my dang mind if I, played Poppy Playtime, though. I'm, like, such a scaredy cat. And Poppy Playtime would totally freak me out. Long time no see! Yeah! I hope you've been wonderful. Okay, what time is it? Dang. Guys, when I'm not distracted, I can read a lot. I've already almost read 50 pages, and it's only been 2 hours. Okay, I'm gonna read one more chapter, and then, maybe we'll chat a little. I want to show you guys, I did make a new Roblox guy. It's really cute. So I want to show it to you. What's your country name? Canada! I'm from Canada. Alright, one more chapter. Let's find out what the secret plan was that Greywing developed. Greywing peered through the shadowy pines. Scrubland stretched ahead of him, bathed in moonlight. In the distance, he could hear the rumbling of the thunder path. Beyond the scrub, the cairn place rose against the star-speckled sky. Greywing shuddered as the stench of the mountain of two-legged trash touched his nose. Slash really keeping Starflower so close to such a filthy place? Longtail shifted beside him. The forest cat's musky scent seemed strange to Greywing now. Leaf and Reed fidgeted in the shadows behind them. Leaf and Lightning Tail had volunteered to join the patrol when Greywing had traveled to Thunder's camp to discuss his plan. Ah, so while this was happening, while they were doing the meeting, they snuck in. Oh, good job reading. Thank you! Reed had insisted on coming from the start, and Greywing had been grateful to his campmate. The Silver Tom's knowledge of healing might be useful. Who knew what state they'd find Starflower in? Lightning Tail wrinkled his nose. Are you sure this was the place? Greywing kept his gaze fixed ahead. Fern said it was. Leaf glanced over his shoulder uneasily. Where is Fern? You said she'd meet us here. She has to slip away from her campmates without being seen, Greywing reminded him. Let's hope she hurries, Reed muttered. We need to get Starflower away before the meeting is finished and Slash leaves the 4 trees. If he's willing to kidnap a queen, what in the stars will he do to us if he finds us trying to help her escape? Greywing glanced at the half-moon. It was still rising. How long would the meeting last? Windrunner had promised to stretch it out as long as she could. Hopefully there was still plenty of time. He glanced back into the shadows anxiously. Was Fern coming? Perhaps they should start searching the scrubland for Starflower without her. Greywing had spent the last quarter moon tracking Fern, scouring the pine forest for some sign of her scent as he tried to figure out where she'd gone after she'd left Tall Shadow's camp. He'd ranged further and further, trekking through the oak forest and even beside the river in hope that he could catch up with her. She was his only link, and his only chance of finding out where Starflower was being held. At last he'd found her scent beyond the pines. He tracked it, growing wary as it mingled with the rogue's stench. The scents had thickened with fear. He had located the rogue's camp. It was a dip where the pines thinned into boggy land, hidden by a thick wall of marsh grass. He'd circled it gingerly, then climbed the slope beyond. Hazel thickets crowded between willow trees, which stretched towards the denser forest. It was a perfect hiding place from which to observe the comings and goings of the rogues. Greywing had found a patch of rotting moss and rolled in it to disguise his scent, then crouched at the heart of the moss-tangled thicket and waited. A long day and night passed before he glimpsed Fern. As dawn washed the marshland in watery light, he saw her. She was following a patrol along a trail towards the camp. Greywing's heart had lurched as he wondered how to attract her attention without being spotted by her campmates. It was lucky that she had such a keen sense of smell. She paused as she padded along the bottom of the slope, her nose twitching. She had pricked her ears. Greywing's heart had quickened as she turned and glanced towards the willows. "I'll catch up with you," she called to the patrol. As soon as they were out of sight, Fern had hared up the slope, darting between the hazel thickets, her pelt rippling. She'd guessed he'd come about Starflower, but swore she didn't know where the queen was being held. "Slash won't tell anyone but our guards," she'd confided. "He's keeping her away from the camp so no one can find her." "But we have to know where she is," Greywing had pressed. Fern had promised to find out where Starflower was being held. "But you mustn't come back here," she had told him. "I'll find you. It's safer for both of us." He'd left her, feeling more anxious than relieved. Was it fair to let Fern put herself at risk? He'd pushed the worry away. Clear Sky's unborn kits were a greater risk. Days had passed, with the meeting at the 4 trees looming ever closer. At last Fern had come, slinking at dawn from the patch of heather as he passed on hunting patrol. Her eyes round with fear. "I know where she's being held," she breathed. "I can't show you now. Slash will already be wondering where I am." They'd arranged to convene at the edge of the pine forest on the night of the meeting. The night had arrived, and Greywing glanced at the half moon again. Where was she? Hadn't she been able to get away? He shifted his paws, feeling stiff from crouching on the damp earth. What if Fern doesn't come? Lightning Tail glanced at him. "We'll find Starflower ourselves." Greywing broke off as the brambles rustled behind them. He spun, signaling with a twitch of his tail tip for the others to be silent. "Greywing?" Fern's frightened whisper sounded between the trees. Greywing felt a flicker of relief, then stared anxiously into the shadows. "Are you alone?" "Of course I am." She slid from the tangled branches, wincing as the thorns tugged her black, knotted fur. Leaf straightened. "We thought you weren't coming." Fern glared at him. "I said I would, didn't I?" Reed dipped his head. "We're just glad you made it here safely." Lightning Tail blinked at her expectantly. "Where's Starflower?" "Follow me." Fern brushed past them and padded from the trees. Keeping low, she led them across the scrubland. Short, wiry. That's big. This book really likes that word. I've read that word so many times today, and I feel like I only used to read it once a book. Short, wiry grass jabbed between Greywing's claws. Frost-blackened bushes crowded on either side. The stench of the Cairn place grew stronger as they neared it. Fern slowed her pace. She nodded towards a dense patch of bracken. "She's in there," she breathed. "Swallow and Snake are guarding her." Lightning Tail padded close to her, tasting the air. Greywing saw Fern hesitate, pure scent wafting from her pelt. "You'd better get back to your camp," he whispered. She glanced at him gratefully. "If Slash finds out I led you here..." "I know." Greywing touched his nose to her head gratefully. "You've been very brave, and we will remember your kindness and courage for many moons." She blinked at him expectantly. "I hope you get her away from here. This is no place for a queen who's carrying kits." Dipping her head quickly, she hurried back to the cover of the pines. Greywing turned to Lightning Tail. "Are you ready?" "Of course." Lightning Tail lifted his chin. Greywing nodded to Leaf. "Do you remember what to do?" Leaf nodded. Greywing tasted the air. Rogue scent touched his tongue. The bracken swished in the light breeze. He signaled Lightning Tail and Leaf forward with a flick of his tail, and crouched, pressing his belly to the earth. Reed dropped down beside him as 2 forest cats padded closer to the bracken. Greywing held his breath as they neared the shadowy fronds. Leaf glanced at him quickly, then ducked beneath the cover of a juniper bush. Lightning Tail lifted his chin and marched straight on. "Who are you?" An angry snarl sounded from the break-in pouch as Lightning Tail disappeared behind it. Just a loner looking for prey, Lightning Tail answered breezily. Go on somewhere else, a second snarl cut through the night air. Lightning Tail sniffed. Where's the best place to hunt around here? A threatening growl sounded from behind the break-in. Greywing stiffened as he saw Lightning Tail back away, his ears twitching uneasily. Two cats stalked towards him, hackles high. One was an orange tabby she-cat with amber eyes, the other a gray tabby tom with broad shoulders. Their tails twitched aggressively. I'm sorry I bothered you. Lightning Tail was leading them further away from the break-in. I'll leave you in peace. As he spoke, Leaf let out an anguished wail. The rogue jerked around, pelts bristling. What's going on? The gray tom flattened his ears. I don't know. Worry flashed in the tabby's eyes. Go find out what that noise was, and I'll get rid of this loner. The gray tom turned towards Lightning Tail, his teeth glinting as he drew back his lips. The tabby stalked cautiously towards the bush where Leaf was hiding. Leaf let out another anguished wail. What is it? Or who is it? The tabby asked nervously. What's wrong? Quick! Greywing hissed in Reed's ear. With both guards distracted, this was their chance. He slunk forward, keeping low, and crept towards the break-in. Reed's breath warmed his tail tip. He reached the wall of stiff fronds and pushed them through, emerging into a small clearing. Starflower lay at one edge. Her matted fur clung to her body. Her swollen belly jutted out from a bony frame. Hadn't they been feeding her? Greywing stared at her, shocked, as she lifted her head. She gazed at him dully. Who is it? She sounded numb. It's Greywing. He hurried to her quickly and crouched at her side. We've come to take you home. The break-in rustled as Reed slid in behind him. How is she? She looks weak, Greywing told him. Starflower was staring at him, confused. There's Clear Sky. He's keeping Slash busy. Greywing tucked his nose under her shoulder and began to nudge her to her paws. We have to get you out of here. We haven't got long. As he spoke, a yowl sounded outside camp. If you want to fight, you got one, Lightning Tail's snarl echoed through the air. Hurry, Greywing urged. A second shriek sliced through break-in wall. Leaf! Starflower's eyes seemed to spark to life as she heard it. Suddenly, she was hauling herself to her paws. There are two guards, she warned Greywing. I know. Lightning Tail and Leaf are taking care of them. No. Starflower stared at him. Two more. Slash sent extra because of the meeting. Greywing's chest tightened. Where are they? They went to hunt rats in the Karen place. Starflower glanced fearfully at the gap in the break-in. They'll hear the fighting. Come on. Greywing nudged her towards the twisted fronds where he'd broken in. As he pushed through, Greywing nodded Reed after her. Paw steps were pounding over the ground outside. He pushed through the break-in as Starflower and Reed began to run for the pines. Lightning Tail was wrestling with the gray tom. Leaf was pummeling the tabby with churning hind legs. The paw steps grew louder. Two burly shapes loomed from the shadow of the Karen place. One veered towards Starflower and Reed with a yowl of rage. The other leaped for Greywing. Paws slammed into his side. He lost his footing and fell to the ground. Paws raked his muzzle. Teeth sank into his hind leg. Pain seared like fire through him as a ginger tom bit down through his fur. He strained to see if Starflower had gotten away. Reed was rolling across the ground, withering with a tortoiseshell she-cat. Beyond him, Starflower had stopped and turned back to look. Run! Greywing wailed. As he spoke, the ginger tom let go and harried away, charging after Starflower. Harried away, too. They've used harried away a lot in this. Greywing scrambled to his paws and chased after him. He felt a twinge in his chest. It sharpened as he saw the tom reach her first. Starflower's eyes lit with fury. She reared and met the attack with outstretched claws, but the tom hit her like a barreling wind. Grunting, Starflower staggered backwards and fell. Uh-oh. Her swollen belly thumping onto the ground. You thought you could escape. The ginger tom lunged, his claws flashing in the moonlight. Starflower tried to find her paws, her eyes wild with fear, but the rogue hooked his claws into her neck. Greywing's pelt bristled. Get off her! He gripped the tom's scruff between his teeth and hauled him away. Starflower shrieked as fur tore from her pelt. Tom struggled free and leaped again at Starflower. "You won't escape!" Moving as fast as a snake, Greywing darted between them. The Ginger Tom crashed into him, his gaze flaming. He stretched a paw around Greywing, reaching for Starflower, but Greywing thrust him away and sent him reeling backwards. He threw Starflower a quick, desperate look, and saw her freeze, panic showing in her eyes. Blood dripped from her cheek. Clumps of fur stuck out of her pelt. "Run!" Greywing yowled. "We can hold them off." She stared at him for a moment, then turned and fled for the pines. Reed struggled from beneath the tortoiseshell. "Starflower hurt? Go with her!" Greywing ordered. He reached out a paw and swiped at the tortoiseshell's tail. The tortoiseshell turned on him as Reed raced away, but Greywing hardly saw her. The Ginger Tom had found his paws. He dived for Greywing, knocking him down. As the rogue spun to chase after Starflower, Greywing hooked a paw around his leg. Sinking his claws, he held on tight, the claws of the other paw holding fast to the tortoiseshell's tail. "Lightning Tail!" Panic flared through Greywing. The rogues were struggling from his grip. Lightning Tail was driving the Grey Tom back with a flurry of blows. He turned just as the Ginger Tom broke free and chased after Starflower and Reed. Lightning Tail pelted after the rogue. Greywing twisted around and slammed the paw into the tortoiseshell's flank. He dug his claws and scrambled up, pinning her with one paw. He slashed her nose with the other. Terror shone in her eyes. She fell limp beneath his grip. "If I let you go, will you leave Starflower alone?" he hissed. The tortoiseshell blinked at him desperately. "Yes!" Backing off, he let her go. She scrambled to her paws, her pelt bushed. Her gaze flitted from him to the others. Lightning Tail writhed on the ground, the Ginger Tom in his grasp. Leaf battered the tabby's muzzle. As he cowered against the earth, the tortoiseshell blinked at Greywing in disbelief. "Go home," he snarled. Her gaze lingered on him for a moment, then she turned and fled towards the cairn place. Grey fur flashed at the edge of Greywing's vision. The Grey Tom was zigzagging between the bushes, heading for the pines. Greywing plunged after him, his lungs screaming as his chest tightened. The world seemed to close around him, but he pushed onward. His vision narrowed to a tunnel, fixed only on the Grey Tom. The Tom slowed as he reached the pines, stumbling on the brambles that snaked between the trees. Greywing began to catch up. He raced into the shadow of the trees, leaping easily between the brambles. He'd spent too much time in the forest that led them to trip here. The Tom raced on, but Greywing was gaining. As the trees opened into a clearing, Greywing flung himself forward. Stretching his claws, he dug them deep and dragged the Tom to a screeching halt. Blood roared in his ears, but he kept his claws curled deep into the Grey Tom's pelt. The Tom shrieked and tried to struggle free, but Greywing held him hard. Closing his eyes, he fought to breathe. The Tom writhed in his claws. "I mustn't let go." The single thought throbbed in his mind. Then the Tom stopped struggling. Greywing opened his eyes and peered at the rogue. The Tom was lying on the ground, as still as dead prey. Slowly, Greywing released him and stepped away. The Tom grunted. Then, pelt rippling, he staggered to his paws and glared reproachfully at Greywing. "You're wasting your time." Greywing puffed. "I won't let you get her." The Grey Tom growled, his tail dragging. He limped away between the pines. Greywing drew in a shuddering breath. In the distance, he heard Lightning Tail screech. Then another yowl cut through his ear fur. He stiffened. The cry was filled with pain, not the furious pain of battle, but a deep, frightened yowl. Starflower! Something was wrong. He forced himself to run, his lungs aching with every step. Swerving out of the trees, he broke into the verge of the thunder path. A monster thundered past, and he flattened his ears to the wind as it whipped by his face. Its roar faded, and he heard the desperate yowl again. Ahead on the grass, he saw Reed crouching over a fallen body. Had Starflower been hit by a monster? His thoughts reeled as he remembered Turtletail. A monster had killed her. He'd never seen her body, but he had imagined her over and over again, lying stricken beside a strange and distant thunderpath. His heart seemed to burst inside his chest, but he forced himself to keep moving towards the huddled figure of Reed. What happened? His mew was trembling as he neared. Reed turned to him, his eyes wide with fear. "The kids!" He breathed. They're coming. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. She's having her babies. Please enjoy this test tube. I hope you enjoy it and have fun. Okay, that's all. That's all I'm gonna... That's where we'll conclude the story today. But I really, really, really want to show you my Roblox person. You don't know what you're filling it up with? Maybe, like, coconut water or something? Sesame... Color is sesame. Can you make sesame juice? Cliffhanger? Yeah! We'll get right into it next time. The blood of the Mons! Why isn't Roblox opening? Being stinky, that's what. Oh, there we go. What do you mean create an account? Oh my god. Quick sign in. What a load of hoopla. Merry Christmas. Roblox. I guess I could have done the code. I didn't have to do that. What a load of hoopla. Good start for next week then. Or the week after if it isn't happening next week because of Christmas Eve. Oh yeah, Christmas Eve. I don't know what I'm doing on Christmas Eve yet, so it might be next week. But it'll throw us right into it. You auto log in for Roblox? I should. I don't know why it was like being weird. Okay, we'll go. I'm gonna join Leo. He's having a moment. Don't worry, I won't look. Oh my god, you look so cute! Wait! Oh my god, this is perfect! Do you see my tiny form? Oh my gosh. Wait, that is so good. Hold on. I'm gonna show you guys. That's cute. Look! Leo made me It's me! It's me, Nono! And then this is the one I made. You like it? I'm so small. I'm so itty bitty. I'm like a little creature. View wear outfit. Now I am Nono. This is actually extremely accurate hair. I'm very surprised. Oh my god! No way! How do you spin like that? Are you on a controller? Is that why? He's pogging. That's like the best emote I've ever seen. Or is that just the guy? Custom pose, it's perfect. I like you. Can I save this? Saved outfit. Saved to Roblox. This one. Leo's cosplay. Leo's Nono cosplay. There, perfect. Oh! Oh! What's he doing? His arm is sticking out. You can make poses! Oh, that's so cute! Rat dance. Aww, emotes aren't capable? What about this one? That's so sad. But look at how cute I am. You need an R5 avatar. Let's wait. Let's go to my other one. This one I can dance with. 1 in 9999. Emotes. Trip out. Happy hula. Aura fly. Zombie run. E-fly. Catwalk walk. Hear me now? This one isn't necessarily me. This is my Roblox OC now, guys. What should her name be? Creature. What is happening? Ah! Kermit, the frog. I'm hugging you. Oh. Wait, are you really small too now? Oh my god, wait, you're so tiny like me. I was like, wait, why are you like my size? You can go smaller? Thank you for the follow, my chocolate heart. Look at your legs. They're in your head. Oh my god, he's a frog. He's a frog. Oh my god, he's so fast. Wait. I have to give you a... Gonna woof woof bark. Cutest sitting pose, making faces. Race car. Spider-Man. Green! Oh my gosh, now he's really a frog. Wow. Who knew that Roblox could be this beautiful? Chicken! Whoa, look at the detail on those legs! Holy moly! Oh, pigeon! Let's go... Wait. I know I saw one that was really... funny. Body. Head. Characters. Aha! Chicken! Wait. Let's look up something. What should we look up? Popcorn. Oh my god. like this guy. Oh. It's me again! I like this cute mini popcorn bucket, too. Oh. Dead. Wee, 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 wee. Catalog, warrior cat. Wow, they have... Meow meow? Maybe, wait. How about Firestar? Dang it! That would have been the top one. Alright, that's what I wanted to show you guys! Thank you for making a cutie-ful me. Leo. I love her. She's so cute. Yay! 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 Okay, let's get out of here. Let's skabooble. Flows! Alright. Back to chatting. Back to chatting. Let's find somebody to raid. Oh my god. It's Elio. Elio doesn't have a shirt on. Pretty crazy. Or should I raid? Ooh. Let's raid a fields of Mr. Whoa, look at this guy! Oh my god, his model's so cool. He's got like a little cat on it.
Oh, this is crunchy. This compression. I've saved this.
Wait, I love this guy.
Anyway, so BP says.
So BP says.
So BP says, I just wanted to say, and I'm so sorry this makes you uncomfortable, but your custom song helps me defecate better. Like.
All right, let me find my channel. Reader dashboard. I'm live. Whoa! Who would have thought? Who would have thunk? All right, we're gonna raid. I remembered. Wait, okay. So tomorrow we're gonna be playing more Inscription. I'm really excited because I was really enjoying it when I was playing. And then on Friday, I remembered what we were gonna do. On Friday, we have a Goose Goose Duck collab with more V-Civ people. So that'll be fun. Inscription! Yeah! I was really enjoying it. I was having a lot of fun. Goose Goose Duck 2? Yeah! Here's a raid message. It's a good week. It's a good week. Alright, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I forgot to talk about my discovery of a new love of Kog'Maw. Mr. Kog'Maw League of Legends man. So I'll talk about that tomorrow too. Okay, bye-bye! Bye-bye! Say hi to this fellow. He looks so cool. He's got like a low poly model. Like a low poly 3D model with a cat on his shoulder. It's really cute. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye! Bye-bye!